What is truly the most realistic fight scene in all of cinema? I decided to go through all of them. Every single fight scene to find the ones. Because I'm tired of all these overly choreographed dance-like fights that really show characters not struggling when they normally would. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine, as cool as it is. So, what is a real fight? I am someone who's been in a lot of fights. I have a lot of combat experience, you could say, as a real-life vigilante. Real fights end quickly, y'all. Someone's getting knocked the fuck out, or dropped, or taken to the ground and submitted, or someone's just gassing out and having a heart attack. Fights don't have extended, long, choreographed, hand-to-hand combat exchanges. No. You get tired, it ends quickly, there's nothing stylized about it, and most of them end up looking like this. When people think they're about to get into a fight and throw hands, and throw kicks and all this karate shit, no. They end up just grabbing a hold of each other because that's what people do. Human bodies struggle with trying to box each other. Grabbing on is something human bodies are naturally attuned to do. Look at high-level MMA fights where we have athletes who are primed to go for 25 minutes having those kinds of lengthy exchanges. But even they resort to just grabbing onto each other and trying to submit each other. Even they gas the fuck out. Okay? Most high-level fights look like this now, where it's a wet blanket fest with wrestlers. No shade thrown at the wrestlers with the Dagestanis. I'm just saying. It's a fucking trend. So, a lot of people, when they're like, oh, realistic fights, they bring up John Wick, Atomic Blonde. Oh, look at the way John Wick is incorporating judo and jiu-jitsu realistically. Look, I appreciate the use of real-life martial arts in this, but that doesn't make them realistic fight scenes. This brother doesn't struggle. He kills 50 million people without gassing out. No. I'm going to tell you what really, realistic fight scenes are, okay? They're the ones where the protagonist, or the one you're following, feels vulnerable. He feels like he could die at any moment. He's gassing. He's tired. He's fighting for his life. Him and the people he's fighting are tired. They're not going into lengthy, extended combos and all this shit. If the fight lasts more than 2 to 3 minutes, it's fake. Honorable mentions. The opening fight in Logan, where Logan sees a bunch of Mexicans trying to fuck with his car or whatever, and gets into a brawl with them. Do y'all remember how badass this fight is? You know why it was badass? Because it's arguably the most realistic fight scene I've ever seen in superhero cinema, period. He gets into a fight with them, and it's not this fight where he just mows through them easily and has all this aura. No, he gets his ass whooped. He just woke up from sleeping and doesn't know what the hell's going on, gets shot immediately, gets up again because he can heal. Gets smacked over the head with a bat. He's on the ground getting pummeled by 7 guys, and there's 2 times where that happens to him. Then he starts stabbing and swinging his claws. Half the time he's missing, and then he cuts hands off, all that. The fight doesn't last long either. It's like 2 minutes. As soon as he gets going with his claws, it's over. That's how fights go in the superhero world. They're not this extended ass freaking 25-minute fight. No, someone's dying realistically in a superhero fight. They live. Look, this is an honorable mention because, in my opinion, the way it's choreographed isn't the most realistic, but my god, is this one of the best fight scenes ever. I might make a whole video dedicated to this movie and how great this fight scene is. It's one of the best, most iconic fight scenes ever, and it deserves a mention on every fight list. Ever. Now we're getting to the most realistic, okay? Period. There's a movie called Haywire with Gina Carano. I believe it might have been her film debut. She's an MMA fighter. And her film debut was with Michael Fassbender and Channing Tatum, by the way. That's how crazy that was. Most MMA fighters, especially those who are retired now, they don't get fights with superstars like this, okay? Gina Carano's the main character, and in a cafe opening fight scene with Channing Tatum, she's getting body slammed, punched, smacked to the body, kicked in the ribs, and when they actually get into a fight and she locks him up and tries to break his arm and shit, it's a real fight. It feels real. This isn't one of those films where the main character, who's a female, is a Mary Sue and can walk through anything. Pray. I'm joking. No, she's struggling. Even when she does beat him, you buy it because, one, Gina Carano, she knows MMA techniques, and you realistically buy that she can fight. Not to mention her fight with Michael Fassbender that happens in a hotel room. They're smashing each other into glass, into walls, and she's beating him with actual MMA techniques. When they punch each other, you feel it. Snowpiercer 2014, one of my favorite movies ever. 2014 was such a goated year for films. Basically, the fight scene I want to touch on is the elites at the front of the train have a bunch of their soldiers who are masked psychopaths with knives, and they're facing all our poor people from the back. And basically, they just run at each other. What would happen if 2 groups of people with weapons, especially one carrying knives and machetes, runs at each other? Are we seeing some John Wick level dodging, maneuvering, flips, and all this? No. Everyone's dying. That's what happens in this movie. Most of the main characters die right away in this film. Especially, I'm not going to mention who if you haven't seen this movie, but somebody you think is going to make it towards the end of the film dies because he realistically would. People are getting stabbed left and right. Chris Evans is saved multiple times from near death. Daredevil, the hallway fight. We're going to get to a fight that this is an homage to later. But this fight, when people saw it, they were like, bro, we haven't seen anything like this in Marvel. This dude is going through a hallway with people, struggling, wounded, touching his stomach every 2 seconds, gassed. They're all tired. I don't need to explain to you how good this fight scene is. In fact, for good measure, a fight scene that I think is even better in terms of realism is the prison fight in Season 3 of Daredevil, where all these inmates are released on Daredevil, and Daredevil himself is almost unconscious because of this thing that's been injected into his hand, this poison or whatever. He's fighting all of them, and he almost gets destroyed. He gets his ass whooped in this fight. He gets kneed in the face, thrown up into the air, kicked on the ground, punched left and right. He's not dodging punches left and right. He's not John Wick. He's getting smacked up. In fact, at the end of the fight, he barely makes it out. If it wasn't for him talking to spare his life, he would have been killed by this big man. He wasn't doing anything to this big dude. He was too tired by the time he was beating everybody. That's how good this fight scene is. That's how real it is. Most guys that you see in movies, protagonists are able to kill big men like this easily. Not this dude. This dude just is gassed from beating the shit out of not only prisoners, but prison guards, and then sees this dude, he's like, oh fuck, and then gets put to a wall. That's how realistic this fight scene is. The Bourne Ultimatum. Look, if you want to see the most realistic fights with two super assassins, this is it. It doesn't get better than this. This is one of the best fights in cinema history. Why? Because it's fast and brutal. It ends quickly. If two assassins that are able to use any object at their disposal, and I mean any, Jason Bourne uses a fucking magazine. Desh uses like one of those hookah stands for smoking or whatever. What are those pipes are called? They're using everything at their disposal. If two of these guys are in a room with objects, one of them is dying quickly. And by the way, this doesn't end with someone getting viciously KO'd with a shot that wouldn't really KO someone that easily, like you see in most movies. No, Jason Bourne has to strangle this fucker in the corner of a bathroom. This isn't clean. This is as dirty a fight as it gets. The safest way to end most fights is to latch onto the throat and choke them out. Not to try to punch them and risk breaking your fucking hands and then getting knocked out in a counter shot. Anyone who fights knows this is the truth, by the way. Anyone who's been in a fight knows that if you want to play it safe, grab onto that fucking neck and choke him. Take him to the ground or strangle the fuck out of them. That's what he does. I think he does it with a towel on this. He doesn't try to do a flipping tornado kick or flying knee. No. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill this dude right now and strangle him while I have him in the corner and not give him an opening to leave. Nobody is John Wick, but in my opinion, the first movie, Nobody, is like a better John Wick because it's more realistic and awesome. I know a lot of John Wick fans are about to kill me. I love both. John Wick is art to me. I think John Wick, action-wise, is art. I fucking love it. But the fight scene on the bus in Nobody is one of the greatest fight scenes of all time and the most realistic. This dude is basically an ex-assassin for the CIA that's seeing this Russian gang harass this female on a bus. And he gets up, takes his gun out, pours out all the bullets, and says, I'm gonna fuck you up. Guess what happens next? Does he commence to fuck them up and kill them all easily? No. They laugh at him and one of the dudes punches him and rocks him to the floor. He gets dropped. Yeah, that's how the fight starts out. He looks like a clown. Then he gets an extended exchange with all of them where he's winning, but he's getting his ass whooped left and right. He's getting stabbed. He's stabbing them back. There's a point where he gets thrown out the window of the bus and has to come back in. Look at him! This is an old man, by all accounts, right? He's an older dude, out of his prime, ex-assassin, hasn't done this in a while. And he looks like it. He feels like it. He's gassing. He's bled up. He's like, oh my god, my ribs. That's what this fight scene is. This is a realistic John Wick. That's what I haven't seen the sequel. I want to really badly. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as good as the first one. But, man, when I saw this fight, my jaw nearly dropped. I was like, bro, this is amazing. This is what I want in fight scenes. I like it when people struggle. Warrior. A lot of these sports fight movies are very cheesy and corny, but if you're trying to watch one that's heartfelt but also realistic in terms of its fights, this is it. Warrior is my favorite fight movie of all time. It has the most realistic MMA fights I've seen, maybe ever, on film. with realistic MMA techniques. It's about a freaking teacher who needs to fight so he can make money for his family. That's really what it is. And he gets his ass whooped. He does. Until he gets good enough and is able to fight in a tournament. And even when he's fighting in the tournament, this dude's getting thrown across the fucking octagon. It's great. Now, if I mention this, I have to mention other fight movies like The Fighter, which has pretty cool boxing fights too that are realistic. As an honorable mention, I'll mention it. But man, MMA fight-wise, this is realistic. Now we're getting to the GOATs, okay? These two fights, nothing compares. The Revenant. Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy are going at it! This is a classic revenge story. And a period piece. Basically, no choreography. The directors literally just told Tom Hardy and Leonardo DiCaprio to fight. That's what this fight is. They fight. And there's no, oh, we're going to kick. We're going to do this fancy axe swordsmanship. No. We're literally grabbing onto each other, biting, crawling over each other, trying to choke each other the fuck out, grabbing onto each other's legs and stabbing the freaking leg open, trying to like drag you towards me while I'm trying to punch you. And there's barely any punches thrown. They're just trying to grab and freaking bite and claw at each other. That's a real fight, especially when they're gassed in the middle of the fucking Arctic. Well, not the Arctic, but you get it. That Revenant is one of the best, bro. I'm gonna be real. This and the bear scene, two of the best. You can't even call them fight scenes because they're really not. They're just like molestation scenes at that point. That's what they are. Two of the best molestation scenes ever. Number one. You already know it. Every single hallway fight scene is an homage to this. Old Boy. Old Boy is one of the best fight scenes of all time. It is a filmmaker's wet dream in terms of action, okay? It's one shot. Not one shot from the point of view from the back of a person going forward. No, this is like a real one shot where you see the side. No one can play it safe here. You have to get your choreography down. And the beautiful thing about this choreography is that it's real. You feel like these guys are improvising half the moves as well. One guy with the hammer fighting a bunch of dudes with sticks and knives and all this shit. And he's gassed, they're gassed. There's a point where he gets stabbed in the back and has to stop and play dead because he knows if he keeps fighting, he'll fucking die. And he's waiting for his adrenaline to surge. And the guys above him are all like, oh, is he dead? Is he dead? And then he's like, fuck. Then he takes that chance to go at all of them. He's got superior boxing, but they got weapons. And you see him getting hit every 2 seconds. But he's still getting it done. He's gassed. I never see this in a John Wick movie. John Wick, do this once, I beg you. Look at him. He's on his knees. And then even after rocking the fucking dude, he's still grabbing a hold of the wall. Bro, can I see one superhero do this? Since Daredevil? Please? This is Old Boy. This is what a realistic fight is. You could argue that Revenant is more realistic because I would say probably it is, but this is amazing the way this is filmed. Old Boy's fight, hallway fight, corridor fight, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is the most realistic fight of all time. It's awesome. Yeah, if you want to know, not realistic, but the best display of martial arts ever in cinema history, you can watch the video I made on that over here. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.